Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops.
Oh, it's cool.
I'm an entrepreneur, man. What's one quick tip of success?
Brother, I can't do that right now.
No?
I'm not trying to be funny. I got to get going with that year. I'm trying to get these guys in there. You
That's
got a picture though, right?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Appreciate you, bro.
So, Drake, were you surprised at that knockout at the end? Because Benavidez was about 20 seconds away from the bell.
I probably was a little surprised that he came so late, but it's boxing, man. It just takes one. It just takes one good shot to get through. Benavidez didn't see the shot. He was trying to land his own shot. His shot just missed. Terence got off to the side and landed just a vicious uppercut. Anytime a fighter falls face first or falls on the side, he's pretty much out. So when I first saw the stop, I was like, he probably should have let him finish the fight out, you know, because he earned that. But then as I saw the replays, he was out. And I would always love a ref to stop it maybe one too soon and one too late. So I think it was a great stoppage after I saw it.
I didn't see the telecast, but someone said you had a 10-10 round. Did you score a round 10-10?
Yeah, I don't even know which one it is. I got to look at my paper. But it was probably early, like maybe 4th or 5th or something like that.
What made you do that?
It was a couple little rounds early that was like, could have went either way.
You learned anything new about Crawford?
I don't like my bad. I don't like scoring even rounds, but if I have to score even, I'll score it.
Did you learn anything about Crawford you didn't know already tonight?
Not really. It's pretty much the same bud, you know. And you'll have some critics that'll say, well, Benavidez isn't the top guy. Terence struggled with him. And, you know, Terence didn't have his best fight, but he ended it the way he was supposed to end it. And you got to realize when you're a blue chipper, when you're a champion, like you fight better with better competition. You'll look worse with a middle of the pack guy. Verge used to always tell me that, like, dude, he said, man, in the beginning of your career is the most dangerous. He said, when you start fighting contenders and champions, I ain't worried about you. Nazim said the same thing about me. It's the same thing for guys like Crawford and the same thing for guys like Shakur. You saw that tonight. When he's fighting the middle of the pack guys you never heard of, he's getting up for it, he's training, but you're gonna see him rise when he faces better competition. So everybody's shocked tonight with Shakur, like, oh wow, great performance. He's a good prospect, and we're not surprised. We're just proud of him, man. He's right where he needs to be. You know, everybody got to calm down. You know, they did the same thing with me. Can't take a punch. You're moving him too slow. All these different things, man. Just let it play out. He's a young kid. He's a young kid. Thank you. He's a young kid. So people will catch up and start realizing how special he is. He just has to stay focused. That's all.
Why is it that you fight better against better competition?
Because when you're a great fighter, or a potentially great fighter, or a top talent, that's just the way it is. You become what you need to become. So, you know, like me, I was good at sparring, and I would handle my business, but I was better in fights. I don't know. It's just what, you know, when I needed to be what I needed to be, I stepped it up. And you see that with guys like, you know, really all the great fighters.
You and Crawford fight differently, but a similarity
Same
I noticed.
mentality.
Yeah, you guys have the same. Like if a guy gets off a good shot, you do it in an intelligent way.
But I'm trying to get it back though.
Yeah. What is that? The competitive streak?
I don't even know if you can like train that. I don't know if you can coach that. Like I've always been like that. I don't know. I can't even explain it. Like I just want to get it back. If you hit me, I'm coming to get there. Like it's a natural reaction. Like I'm a fighter. Like
I heard you like that with everything. Like
yeah.
if you're playing Uno,
you
basketball. You
should have heard me and Terence after the weigh-in, man. We downstairs in the lobby going at it. We did this in the fighter meeting too, talking about out fishing each other, out hooping each other in basketball. Well, that board game, like it's just you can't turn it off. You can't turn it off.
Even if you retire?
And that's why fighters come back. Cause they can't turn it off. So you gotta readjust that competitiveness and that drive towards some other things.
Well, you said that coming back with a different tone than you.
Y'all are funny, man. Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny.
You did though.
I did. But I'm thankful, man. I'm working. I'm staying busy, taking care of my family. You know, like when people talk about a comeback with me, you know, of course I think about it. I love it, man. I've been doing this for 23 years, and turned it off like that. But like I said, the desire doesn't turn off. Like being at these fights, they remind you why you retired, but they also get that fire burning again. So it's a tough thing, but if you really think about it, there's really nothing out there for me, you know? I mean, Usyk is cool, but like, is that really something to be a thing? Like
the winner of the fight.
Yeah, but I mean, it would just have to make a lot of sense, man. And me, I'm a praying man, so if an opportunity came that was legit, I would have to take time to pray about it. And if I felt led to do it, like, man, God is saying it's cool to do this, I would do it. But I'm not chasing the money or nothing like that, man. I've had a great career, and I really enjoy seeing, you know, fighters who are doing their thing now, Terence and so many others. You know, the other 47-pounders, Porter, Spence, just all the guys. Like, I enjoy that. I'm not a guy that's like, man, what about me? Like, I'm happy falling to the back, man, and just covering these guys. So as of right now, man, I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing.
You know this is coming. Does he beat Spence? Does Crawford beat Spence?
Listen, it's a 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50 fight, and I'm not ducking the question, but that's what great fights are supposed to be. When Sugar Ray Leonard fought Tommy Hearns, you couldn't really say who was going to win that fight. You got half the people over here, you got half the people over there. You shouldn't be able to pick a clear winner in a top fight, an elite fight. You should be split, and I'm not split. I'm saying it's a 50-50 fight, and I want to sit back and see who can rise in that moment. But it's gonna be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you got to see if somebody can separate themselves. That's what every big fight is about. So I don't have a prediction on that, you know. And I wouldn't underestimate Porter, because you know he finds a way, you know. The 47-pound division, that's a beast division.
What about size though, Drake? Can Bud hurt Spence? It did take him 12 to get to Benavidez.
I don't know. I don't know why it took 12, but nobody was saying that before this fight. Everybody talked about his punching power. We got to stop being so quick to like jump off the wagon. Like sometimes it's just like that, and you can't explain it. You can fight a middle of the pack guy, and I don't want to call Benavidez that, but just say he's a contender. And for whatever reason, that guy, he ain't gonna go nowhere. And then you fight an elite dude, pow, boom, boom, pow, you clip him a few times, man, he went. You can't explain it. Can't explain it. But it's like that sometimes. And it don't mean that Crawford can't hit. Trust me, he's the same guy that he was before this fight. Same punching power, same everything. So anybody can go. Anybody. And as soon as you start thinking you can't go, you're probably gonna go.
As an immense competitor like you are, all the drama from fight week, you had a situation with the Carl Frocks where it was pretty intense for the build-up.
Yeah, Kovalev, all of them.
Oh yeah, I forgot Kovalev.
Yeah.
How do you compartmentalize all that, the nastiness and pre-fight build-up, like the Benavidez pushing him and stuff like that?
You got to turn it on and turn it off. Like it's a time when we're face to face, or we're in the same vicinity, or it's the press conference or weigh-in. You're gonna be turned up. You go back to your room, you got to settle down, you got to compartmentalize it. And that's an art and a skill. I don't think Benavidez ever turned off his switch. So that's why he was gassed after 4 rounds. And I asked him that in the fighter meeting. I said, man, I appreciate the way you're approaching this. And man, do you think this is like, are you gonna go in there with too much emotion? Because if you do, you can gas out. Nah, man, this is what I do. This is how I rock. So, but you saw what happened. And you saw Benavidez trying to posture and basically eat up the clock, because at a certain point, he knew he couldn't do nothing. If he could have done better, Benavidez, he would have done better.
Is there a time to fight off that emotion though, where you keep it in the reserve, or
you have to, or you gonna gas out?
Right.
You name me any wild men in the sport that lasted a long time. How long did the Mayorga stuff last? He caught a couple people off guard. Once you realize, man, I gotta just take the steam off this dude. This dude smokes cigarettes. He drinks. He fourth, 5th round, he gonna be done. That didn't last long. There's no madmen in the sport. There's no madmen in the Hall of Fame. You got dudes that was, the Ernie said, you got dudes in there that take your head off, but it was calculated. You don't have no rah-rah guys that last long. So that was a big red flag for me when I saw that, because he never turned it off. You would see with Bud would turn it on when he needed to, but then he'd fall back. That lets you know he's compartmentalizing it, but Benavidez never did that.
Speaking of madmen, what were your thoughts on Kovalev, Alida, Alvarez? Because I kind of felt like you set the blueprint on how to deal with a fighter like Kovalev, because before you, nobody had really shown that everyone knew he was a good, powerful boxer.
Well, I think the blueprint was out there, but it takes courage to execute the blueprint. You got to be in the lion's den to get that blueprint off. And once somebody does it, and then I did it twice in the fashion that I did it, now people get a little bit more courage to say, well, maybe I can exercise my gifts and maybe I can do that too. So the blueprint was laid. People knew you had to fight him a certain way, but nobody was trying to be in range to get hit by what he was throwing.
Okay, what makes you the one that initiated, like knew and executed?
I mean, first and foremost, man, I feel like God has given me a lot of courage, man, and just a lot of grit and determination. I don't fear any man. I've never feared any man. And just like I was trained as a young kid, physically, my father and Verge, they also trained my mind and my psyche every day. Hey man, we gonna go to this national tournament and this guy gonna be sticking his chest out, but this is what you do. This is how you handle it. Like, so I'm used to this stuff. And I told everybody that. I said, man, I fought Kovalev so many times already throughout the course of my career. I'm not intimidated by that. As a matter of fact, he's starting to show me how weak he is because he can't turn it off. Same thing like Benavidez. A guy who says what he needs to say, make his point and then back up. I'm gonna be a little leery, like, okay, this guy, he's calculated. He never stopped. So you showing me, man, you giving me all the rah-rah stuff because you're covering up some stuff. And you know what? In fight 2, we're gonna expose it. We said it. Wasn't a lot of people listening though.
Is it a thing too where it shows the guy can't control his emotions? Is that what it is?
I think it's a weakness. I think it's a weakness. Like, this is not the streets. This is not the streets. This is not a bar fight. This is not a street fight. It's like, you gotta have toughness, but you can't be too tough. You gotta have grit, but you gotta know when to use your wit. Like, man, there's so many things that'll cause you to be successful or not successful in a boxing ring. And the guys that are elite, that keep winning at a high level, is for a reason. That's why when I hear people write about or comment about knockouts and this and that, listen, that's one aspect of the game. That's one aspect of the game, and I understand it's exciting. I get that, but that's not boxing. That's not all of boxing. Like, we're limiting our sport, and we're taking away from some of the great fighters that are on the way up and the great fighters that are established right now because of this narrative, man. Come on. Let the people know, educate the casual fan that, listen, man, we got skillful boxers. This dude can't punch, but man, he'll box circles around you. Learn to appreciate that. This dude can box and he can punch. Appreciate it all. You can have your favorites, like, man, I love punchers, but appreciate these guys. Don't talk down to them. And that's what I tell Shakur. Listen, you trying to be in the game for a little bit, or you trying to be in the game for a long time? I want to be in the game for a long time. You got to tune out the noise. You got to tune it out. Let your body mature little by little, and you guys see that it's happening. Body's starting to slowly look different, right? 21 years old, but wait till he gets 22, 23, 24. He's gonna get another level of strength. 25, 26, 27, it's going to even go to another level, but it takes time. Don't get caught up in that, Shakur. Whatever got you here, keep working on that, keep making that great. Let them talk. Let them talk.
Lastly, Dre, did we watch the best in the business tonight? Is Crawford #1 fighter in the world?
Man, I would say so, because, you know, I feel like Spence and those guys, they're right there, but I feel like Terence has been doing this a little bit longer at this level. And some people cite his opponents and say, oh, he didn't fight. I don't think Terence has fought any Hall of Fame fighters, but he's fought the best that was there. And they talked him up. They, you know, and it wasn't just his team talking him up. The media talked these guys up. And he didn't just beat him, he destroyed him. So, until you bring somebody to stop this guy, until you bring somebody to stop this train, I feel like you got to give it to him. And I like Loma. And I hear people trying to shout Loma out, but I just can't give it to Loma because I got too much of a small sample size.
Canelo?
Canelo is arguably up there. Yeah, Canelo is arguably, they could be 1A, 1B.
You were impressed with the Golokvin performance?
They could be 1A, 1B. They could be 1A, 1B. It's subjective. It's how you feel about it. You can't lose with either one of those guys. I love the way Canelo just fought.
You know, it's interesting though, you broke that down after you said he suddenly was like dominating that fight. 34, like almost 99% of
Which one? Which fight?
Had Triple G Canelo. I thought you broke down the fight beautifully after, but it seemed the narrative was Golokvin won.
I think,
did that?
I'm not gonna say that my opinion is low, right? Some of this stuff is subjective, it's what you like, but I will say this. A lot of the media, they're in love with Golokvin. It's a love affair. And when you're blinded by a love affair, you can't see objectively, right? You can't tell me Canelo Okay, let me put it like, I'm gonna sum it up like this. If you make your name, if you build your fan base, if you this raw guy, and that's what we know you as. Why did you choose not to be that guy on the biggest night of your life? There's a reason for that. He asked for Mexican style. That's what he called for. You guys heard Roy talk about that. And the Golokvin fans and the writers don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. Canelo did what you didn't think he was going to do. He stood there and he gave you Mexican style. There was only one Mexican in that ring that night, and that was Canelo.
Tell the fans one reason we should go see Creed 2. Why should we go see it?
Listen, I would say this, and I've said it in other places.
You trying to bulk up? You bulked up for the
I bulked up a little bit, but I'm going to say this.
You went Hollywood?
A little bit. I'm going to say this. You guys are going to see me in a light you haven't seen me before. I'm going to leave it at that. I can't confirm it or not. It's going to be different.
What's it like working with Michael B. Jordan?
I love it, man. I love it. Hard worker, down-to-earth guy. He's a superstar, but down-to-earth guy. We had a lot of conversations in the weeks leading up to us filming. We had a lot of good conversation while I was there. Just a regular dude, man. I really appreciate him. Stephen Cable, the new director. Obviously Ryan Coogler, who did Creed 1, and obviously Black Panther. Like, they all worked in unison. But I'm excited about it, man. I haven't seen the final cut, but I think it's gonna be really cool.
And he trained like a boxer?
Yeah, no, it's serious. Like Michael B. has a real trainer. He can only eat certain things. He has like one cheat day. Like, it's serious. He's wearing like rubber suit. Like, it's real.
Okay.
It's real.
I like that. Method actor. Thank you, Andre.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks so much, man.